Have you ever wondered where the journey of video games began? A fascinating question, isn't it? As we delve into the history of video games, we find ourselves transported back to the early 1960s, a time when the concept of video games was just a spark in the minds of innovative thinkers. Let's start by understanding what video games are. They're essentially electronic games that involve interaction with a user interface to generate visual feedback on a screen. But back then, it was a novel idea, a strange concept, a glimpse into a future that few could comprehend. The first computer game to light up our screens was Spacewar. Born in 1962, it was a two-player game where each player took control of a spaceship and attempted to destroy the other. It was a game of strategy and skill, a game that opened doors to a world of virtual competition and entertainment. This game was not just a game, it was a revolution. A revolution that started in the labs of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and spread across the world. It was the dawn of a new era, an era of video games. But of course, playing games on massive computers wasn't exactly convenient. This led to the development of the first gaming console, the Magnavox Odyssey, in 1972. This console was a game changer, quite literally. It allowed people to play games in the comfort of their homes, transforming the way we viewed entertainment. The Odyssey was a humble beginning with primitive graphics and basic gameplay, but it was the first step on a long road, a road that would lead to the creation of complex, immersive video games that we enjoy today. The birth of video games wasn't just about technology, it was about imagination, creativity, and the human desire to push boundaries. It was about creating new worlds, new challenges, and new ways to have fun. And thus, the stage was set for the video games revolution. A revolution that would change the world of entertainment forever. As we continue on this journey, we'll explore how this revolution unfolded, how it shaped our culture, and how it continues to evolve today. Stay tuned for the next chapter of this exciting story. As the 70s dawned, so did the era of arcade games. The world was about to be introduced to a new form of entertainment, one that would change the landscape of leisure activities forever. An audible symphony of blips and bloops, the flickering lights and the unmistakable scent of popcorn and adrenaline signaled the rise of a new titan in the entertainment industry, the arcade game. The early days of arcade games were dominated by a few key players, but two games stood out from the crowd. The first was a game that brought simplicity and competition together in a way that had never been seen before. Pong. With its simplistic design of two paddles and a bouncing ball, Pong was a game that anyone could play, but only the best could master. It was a game that brought friends and strangers together, fostering a sense of community that would become a defining feature of the gaming world. On the heels of Pong's success, another game soared into the spotlight, Space Invaders. This game brought a new level of complexity and immersion. Players were tasked with defending the Earth from waves of alien invaders, a challenge that tested their reflexes and strategic thinking. Space Invaders was more than just a game. It was an experience, and it was one that people couldn't get enough of. These two games, Pong and Space Invaders, had a profound impact on the gaming industry. They were the pioneers that paved the way for the games we know and love today. They brought video games out of the shadows and into the limelight, making them a mainstream form of entertainment. The popularity of these games sparked a golden age for arcade games. Arcades became a social hub, a place where people of all ages could come together to play, compete, and share in the thrill of gaming. This was the era when video games went from being a novelty to a cultural phenomenon. The arcade era cemented video games as a staple of popular culture. It was a time of innovation and excitement, a time when video games truly came into their own. The impact of this era is still felt today as we continue to see the influence of these early games in the titles we play now. The 80s and 90s saw the rise of a new battlefield, the console wars. This period was defined by the fierce competition and rivalry between two gaming giants, Nintendo and Sega. Nintendo, a company from the land of the rising sun, had been a key player in the video game industry since the arcade era. They solidified their presence in the home video game market with the introduction of the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short. This console brought the world of gaming into living rooms across the globe, and with it came a slew of unforgettable games and characters. None, however, were as iconic as a certain mustached plumber named Mario. Mario quickly became the face of Nintendo, his adventures in the Mushroom Kingdom captivating gamers of all ages. Whether he was saving Princess Peach from the clutches of Bowser or competing in kart races, Mario's games were synonymous with fun, creativity, and quality. But Nintendo's reign was not unchallenged. Enter Sega, a rival from the same shores of Japan. Sega sought to carve its own niche in the gaming world, and they did so with the release of the Sega Genesis. This console was marketed as a more mature, edgier alternative to the NES. And what better way to embody this image than with a speedy blue hedgehog named Sonic? Sonic the Hedgehog was the epitome of 90s cool. He was fast, he was rebellious, and he was the perfect counterpoint to Mario's wholesome image. Sonic's games offered a different kind of experience, one that emphasized speed and attitude over exploration and puzzle solving. The rivalry between Nintendo and Sega, between Mario and Sonic, was more than just a competition for market share. It was a clash of philosophies, a battle of ideas about what video games could and should be. It spurred both companies to push the boundaries of creativity and technology, leading to some of the most memorable games and moments in video game history. The console wars sparked a new era of innovation in video games. They showed us that competition breeds excellence, and that in the end, it's the gamers who reap the benefits. As technology evolved, so did the scope of what video games could be. A new era was dawning in the mid-90s, the dawn of 3D gaming. A significant leap from the pixelated 2D sprites that once dominated screens, the transition to 3D was more than just an aesthetic shift. It was an evolution that expanded the realms of immersive storytelling and gameplay, creating a whole new way for players to experience the world of video games. The mid-90s were a time of groundbreaking innovation, with developers exploring the potential of this new dimension, and amongst the pioneers, two games stood out, defining this era and setting the pace for what was to come: Super Mario 64 inches and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. In Super Mario 64, players were introduced to a vibrant, multi-dimensional Mushroom Kingdom unlike anything they had seen before. It was a game that not only showcased the possibilities of 3D graphics, but also revolutionized gameplay mechanics. The game's variety of moves, the freedom of exploration, and the depth of the environment transformed the platform genre and laid the foundation for future 3D platformers. On the other hand, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time took the adventure genre to new heights. It presented a sprawling, dynamic world filled with complex dungeons, memorable characters, and intricate puzzles. The game's innovative use of 3D space and time mechanics, coupled with a compelling narrative, set a new standard for 3D adventure games. These games were more than just entertainment, they were experiences. They allowed players to explore virtual worlds from a new perspective, to interact with environments in ways that were not possible in 2D. They pushed the boundaries of creativity and innovation, proving that video games could be more than just moving pixels on a screen. The dawn of 3D gaming was a groundbreaking period in the history of video games. It was an era that saw the medium transition from simple interactive entertainment to complex, immersive experiences. It was a time when the possibilities seemed endless, and the future of gaming looked brighter than ever. 3D gaming pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the world of video games. In the new millennium, video games have become more than just a form of entertainment. They've evolved into a vibrant and diverse medium, encompassing a vast array of experiences and genres. Let's talk about the rise of online gaming first. It has completely revolutionized the landscape of the industry. With the advent of high-speed internet, we've seen games become more interconnected than ever before. Players from around the globe can now come together in virtual realms, creating communities that transcend borders. This has given birth to esports, where skilled gamers compete on a professional level, watched by millions, just like traditional sports. But that's not all. Video games have also grown as a medium for storytelling. Games such as The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption have shown us that video games can deliver narratives as compelling and emotionally impactful as any novel or film. Through the interactive nature of games, players are not just observers but active participants in the story, leading to a deeper level of engagement. The new millennium has also seen the rise of indie games. These are often developed by small teams or even single individuals, proving that you don't need a huge budget to create a memorable gaming experience. Indie games have brought us unique and innovative titles like Braid, Undertale, and Stardew Valley, each with their own distinctive charm and gameplay mechanics. Finally, we cannot overlook the impact of mobile gaming. The ubiquity of smartphones has made gaming more accessible than ever, bringing the joy of play to a wider audience. From casual time killers like Candy Crush to more complex titles like PUBG Mobile, mobile gaming has truly become a force to be reckoned with. From a simple computer game to a multi-billion-dollar industry, the journey of video games is a testament to the power of innovation and creativity. The modern era of gaming is diverse, innovative, and exciting, and it's clear that the future holds even more possibilities.